Ladies and gentlemen, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where you are located right now. And hello as well to those of you who are joining us through the recording, because yes, we will be sharing and streaming this later. But this doesn't mean that those online should see me later. All the opposite. There is nothing like the magic of real time. So stay with me, we will interact, and this will give us the chance to make questions, to address them. So I invite you seriously to set everything aside, bring something to drink, make yourself as comfortable, and let's enjoy this ride. My name is Martin Lopez, and I am a part of the Trade and Market Intelligence section at ITC. And on behalf of my colleagues, I would like to welcome you to our annual public webinar. This is an occasion that we long for a lot because this gives us the opportunity to share with you some of what we do and to remind you what you can do with all that. It is always a joy to have you with us and to discuss these topics that for sure are of your interest. Well, this session is dedicated to two types of people. Let's see if you are one of those. Well, number one, this session is dedicated to those of you who may know nothing or just very little about our market analysis tools and would like to get familiar with them. And number two, to those of you who are already frequent users, already part of the gang, and would like to get a refresher and probably to learn something new, as these tools are always evolving and presenting new features. Of course, by the end of the session, we will give you some pointers on how you can go further in your learning and in exploiting these tools so that you can pursue your training on your own and on your time. Well, all I can say is that this is going to be a very well invested hour. I want to mention that this is going to be a very dynamic session. We will just see a couple of slides at the beginning, and all the rest, 99% of it, is going to happen live on the tools, doing real examples, because we know that that is exactly what you wish. Now, this is going to be also very interactive because we will be very happy to take your questions. So if there is something that you've always wanted to know, any curiosity or questions that just come to your mind as we go along, please do write to us on the chat box. And for this purpose, I would like to introduce you to my colleague, Min Young, who will be taking your questions. So please feel free to chat Min Young. But let's say hello to Min Young. Hello, Min Young. How are you today?
Hello. My name is Minyoung Lee. As Martin mentioned, I'm here to assist you with questions throughout this session. So if you have any questions, comments, do not hesitate to reach out with the chat box. Thank you.
Very good. So let's start then. I suppose you're seeing my screen now. And well, I have to say some quick words about what ITC is. As many of you know, well, ITC is a joint agency of the United Nations and the WTO, established in 1964, and we are based in Geneva, Switzerland. Well, now our mission, as you can see here, is to improve lives through sustainable trade, through a number of programs and activities that we conduct from Geneva in Switzerland and in different places, very probably in your country as well. And as part of this big effort, some of you already know these tools because one of our main activities, one of our core activities at ITC is trade intelligence. And we support this by, for example, the creation of a number of tools. You may already be very familiar with TradeMap. This is our first attempt to address trade intelligence already 21 years ago. And we're in the process of refurbishing this tool. So soon you will see a new trade map. That is why this looks a bit vintage. That is the homepage. We will visit trade map for those of you who don't know it. We also have market access map, the tool that can help us identify the market access requirements, meaning tariffs and non-tariff measures, including, for example, trade preferences in the framework of trade agreements. That is what we can do with the trade map. We also have investment map, a tool that tracks flows of foreign investment by sector, by country, and so on. We also have sustainability map, a tool dedicated to the identification of private and voluntary standards. You know that nowadays it can be also a good entry point to try to get certified with these seals, stamps, codes of conduct that can be related to corporate social responsibility, organic production, fair trade, and make our products more competitive and better accepted in some target markets. We also have a procurement map, a tool that tracks databases that publish, how can we say, international tendering processes, and we collect this in a single interface so that you can look for these opportunities by country and by sector as well. There is export potential map. We will be talking about it. We have rules of origin facilitator, a tool that helps you better understand trade agreements, trade preferences, and of course the rules to be eligible to benefit from those trade agreements. There is market price information that tracks information on prices for some products in some markets, not all. Well, these tools in total have already around 1.3 million users. That is a huge community. And please look at the variety and type and magnitude of companies that are users of ITC market analysis tools. We have companies in the pharmaceutical sector, automotive, technology, academic, think tanks, massive consumption, consultancy. We're all around. Well, but what is the difference between Nissan and you? What is the difference between DHL and you? What is the difference between Bosch and Bayer and you? What is the difference between Coca-Cola and you? Well, the difference is that if you are in a developing country, well, the tools are for free for you. So you don't have to take a credit card to have full access. So this is just to encourage you to make the most of them. Information is power, and these tools are good at providing you rich information about opportunities, trends, markets, and how to access those markets. Well, these tools are trusted by journalists around the world. Here we have some snippets of articles, of infographics that have been published, like, for example, in the Wall Street Journal, The Economist, Bloomberg, and others. So let's get down to business. And what do we have for today? Well, we will start with export potential map. Why export potential map? Because remember that when you signed up for this, you specified which tool was of your particular interest. Well, most of you said export potential map, so we will start with that. And it's a good approach because this is a tool for analysis of opportunities, trade, export opportunities. So this will take us later to go into the details of trade flows and move into the Trade Map, our tool for analysis of import-export flows. Somebody asked me if we are recording this. Yes, we will be recording this and sharing this through our YouTube channel. But please stay with us because there is nothing like real time, as I said at the beginning, and we can also interact. And I remind you that Min Young is taking your questions on the chat box. And we also have market access map, the tool that, as I mentioned, can give us information on market access requirements. Well, and probably many of you already have your account. If you don't have an account, a user account in our tools, please take a photo of this address or share that with your friends, colleagues, people who you think would be interested. Marketanalysis.intrasend.org. That is our house in internet. That is the gateway through which you will be able to access all the tools and, of course, create your username and password. But don't go there right now. Please don't go there right now. Stay with me. Let's stick on this screen because we are going to go live right now. Well, this is the homepage of the Market Analysis Tools portal. And well, we are as well in many networks. There you have our account in YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, or we shall say X, TikTok. No, not TikTok, not yet. And I don't think we will be there in a while. Okay, so shall we move online? So if you were not looking at the screen, please, let's switch to our screen of the webinar. Feel free to set everything aside. As I said at the beginning, bring something to join me, bring a cup of coffee, tea, or favorite beverage, and let's spend this moment together looking at the tools. So I'm going to start with Export Potential Map. Well, some quick words about Export Potential Map. This is a tool that can help us identify potential markets for products of your country, products that you would be interested in exporting. I will give you the address right now. This tool can also help us identify promising export products for your target markets. How does the tool do this? Well, the tool drives an econometric model behind. You know what econometrics is, right? Econometrics is this discipline that combines mathematics, statistics, and economic theory to simulate and forecast possible scenarios. And it is by doing this through the use of a model that contemplates over 30 variables that the tool can dare to propose potential markets and potential export products for a country with its respective target markets. So let's go there and let's create a story behind. Let's say, for example, let's put on the shoes of a Mozambican exporter. Okay, we are in Mozambique and we would like to export cashew nuts that are so well demanded in so many markets. So you are Mozambican and your export product is cashew nuts. Let's look at potential markets for cashew nuts. So I'm going to open my, to share my screen again. And here we go with the Export Potential Map. Well, this is the homepage. There is a description of what we do. There are the different links, and we're looking for markets. So I recommend we go to this link here. Look at it at the top, blue ribbon markets, because we need markets for the cashew nuts from Mozambique. So clicking there in markets. So what do we have to do now? Very easy. We just type the name of our country, say Mozambique, and specify the product for which we are looking for potential markets. And what I have to do is just type cashew, start typing my product, do it slowly so that you give some time to the system to give you some suggestions of codes. And there you go. Let's talk about cashew nuts in shell. HS6 code 080132. You know that these tools operate under the harmonized system of codification and designation of merchandises of the World Customs Organization. So in international trade, cashew nuts are called 020132. So correct, that is our product. And in a matter of seconds, the system has already made some assumptions. So what we see here, Germany, what else? UAE, Spain, Netherlands, Vietnam, Italy, United States. So these are potential markets. These are promising markets for cashew nuts from Mozambique. Well, and we can see many other countries. We're just looking at the top 20, but let's have a look at how we interpret this information, okay? This is key to better exploit this tool, Export Potential Map. By the way, the address is here. It's exportpotential.introcent.org. I will ask you, Min Young, to type the address in the chat box for you, my friends, to take note. Okay, so how do we interpret this information? Please pay your max attention to this explanation. Well, let's look at Germany, please. Let's look at Germany at the top of the graph. Well, do you see that there is a bubble here at the beginning of this line? Germany has a bubble here, right? That bubble indicates the actual exports, current exports of cashew nuts from Mozambique to Germany. Now, what does this bubble mean? Let's look at the scale below. Okay, this is over $2 million. That is what Mozambique is exporting to Germany in cashew nuts. By the way, I must highlight something here. When we say that Mozambique is exporting over $2 million, well, this is not last year's exports. This is an average of last 5 years exports, okay? Because I repeat, this is a tool for the analysis of opportunities, not a tool for for statistical analysis. We will look at statistics a bit later with TradeMap. So the bubble indicates current exports to Germany. Now you see this horizontal line, this line in beige. How do you call this color in your country? Beige, okay. So in beige here we see the room for growth that exports of cashew nuts could have from Mozambique to Germany. And this goes all the way to, well, a bit more than, well, $11 million. Yeah, 11? No, even more. It's, okay, almost $15 million. That is what Mozambique could achieve as a market share, as exports to the German market of cashew nuts. How does this happen? Well, the system takes into account the size of the German market. The system takes into account the speed to which these imports of cashew nuts in Germany are taking place, and as well the capacities that Mozambique could have as a supplier for cashew nuts to Germany, taking as well into account responsibly the growth rate or the behavior of previous 5 years of exports of cashew nuts from Mozambique. So everything is very well balanced, responsibly measured through this econometric model. So this is the most, how can I say, realistic or responsible way of forecasting what could be the presence of a product of a country in a target market. So this indicates, let's come back here. This indicates that, and I'm going to click here to freeze this. Well, actual exports are 2.5 million exports of cashew nuts from Mozambique. Now, the system says that there is a potential there are potential export of 15 million specific to Mozambique, specific to the German market of cashew nuts, meaning that there is unrealized potential of around $12 million new exports of cashew nuts to the German market that Mozambique could achieve over the next 5 years. Always remember, when you see figures in Export Potential Map, we're talking about 5 years in the past, an average, and estimations of for the next 5 years. So this is how we understand and interpret information here. Okay, so if I were an exporter in Mozambique, exporter of cashew nuts, well, I would be seriously looking at the German market. That is why the tool put it almost at the top, because, well, it is a very potential market. But we can make some other types of analysis here. Please follow me. And if you look at the bottom of the graphic, you will see that there are some buttons here. Well, this is ranked right now by export potential. We can also rank these by actual exports. Can you follow me? And do you see here, we have the actual exports button? Okay. Now, all these countries will be rearranged according to actual exports. By doing this, we will learn what is Mozambique's main export market for cashew nuts nowadays. So clicking there, actual exports, and everything shuffles. And here we have in pole position, Vietnam, followed by United States, P3, South Africa, then Germany, then Netherlands. There you see how Mozambique is performing with these markets. Now, well, everything is ranked according to the largest market for cashew nuts from Mozambique to the smallest, here is China. But did you see that now the line for Vietnam is broken? Oh, something happened here. It is not a bug, it is not an error. Well, this line is broken for Vietnam. Take 10 seconds to think, what does this mean? What means this broken line for Vietnam? Remember what I explained about the meaning of the bubble and the short line and the horizontal line? You get it, right? Okay, well, you're right. You see that current or actual exports, the bubble, have surpassed the estimated export potential, the mathematically estimated export potential of Mozambique to Vietnam. Okay, so this is good news? Yes, this is very good news. This broken line for Vietnam means that Mozambique is performing extremely well in the market of Vietnam. This means that Mozambique is probably taking the market share of another potential supplier to the Vietnamese market. This is great news for the country. Now, this would be also a signal of alert, you know? Now, if I am a company in Mozambique that only exports cashew nuts, and I am only exporting this to Vietnam, this would be that I don't know if you use this expression, to put all the eggs on the same basket. We use it in Spanish, yeah? Poner todos los huevos en la misma canasta. Yeah. In this case, I think somebody in Mozambique is putting most of the eggs in the same basket of Vietnam. So if I were that exporter who is only exporting to Vietnam and to Vietnam and to Vietnam, well, I would seriously consider to diversify my markets and target other destinations. However, as a country, well, this is very good news. From a country view, from a bird's view of Mozambique, this is great news because we are rocking in the Vietnamese market. Well, now we can also rank these. Please follow me. Let's go to the bottom. We can also rank these according to the potential to actual exports gap. This is the room to grow. And I'm going to click there. Countries will shuffle again. And okay, now we have in pole position Spain. What does this mean? Let's study Spain, okay? Okay, so let's look at exports of cashew nuts from Mozambique to Spain. At this point, at this moment, well, at least last 5 years, it's zero. So we are not exporting to the market of Spain, but there is a lot of room to grow, as you see in this horizontal line. And we could get to export, according to this estimation, wow, around $14 million of cashew nuts to the Spanish market. Now, somebody may say, probably the Spanish market is too hard to penetrate because there are many regulatory requirements, non-tariff measures. Oh, there could be many reasons. However, I am seeing that Mozambique is already exporting to the European Union. And here I see, for example, markets to which we are exporting. I say Mozambique, Germany. Yeah, Mozambique is already exporting to Germany, already exporting to Netherlands, already exporting to Italy. So the Spanish market is not an impossible market because you know that the rules for accessing the European Union countries are the same because everything is seen as one big country as a whole. So voila, there you have a suggestion of a new potential market. But there is not only Spain, there is also Germany, Netherlands, Italy, France, Poland, Greece, well, all these countries. And right now we are looking at the top 20 countries. There are many more. I can switch these to 38, and we have all these potential markets for cashew nuts from Mozambique. Now, what if I am not interested in Europe? Please follow me to the left, and you will see these boxes that you can tick or untick. Let's remove all the EU. There you go. They are gone. Now, I'm not seeing anymore the EU markets. And here I have United Arab Emirates, then South Africa, then Saudi Arabia. Well, other potential markets for cashew nuts from Mozambique. This is how we can use this tool. Now, there is another way of visualizing this information. Let me show you. Please follow me to the top, to the right, to this button, Analyze Export Potential. I'm going to click there, and here I have another type of visualization. I'm going to tick again all countries so that they are made visible again. And I just want to see, let's say, okay, 30 markets. Okay, please look at this new chart. Same information, potential markets for cashew nuts from Mozambique. Well, here I have again, my suggestions are Germany, UAE, Spain, Netherlands. You know, we can also rank these countries by the size of the demand, the size of the demand. And if you follow me to the bottom, there is this button saying demand. Okay, I'm clicking there, countries reshuffle. And here I have that the largest of those potential markets is United States, followed by Netherlands, followed by Germany. Mozambique, United States, it's not Mozambique's main market for cashew nuts, but is the market that is demanding most from the world. Then comes the Netherlands, then Germany. And this is another way of looking at this information, these suggestions from another angle. Something else, do you see that there are different thicknesses of these lines? Do you see, for example, we have this very thick line for South Africa here, another thick line for Mauritius, another one thick line for Botswana. Well, the thickness of these lines have a meaning. What is the meaning? The meaning is the ease of trade. What is ease of trade? Well, is this familiarity that, well, in this case, Mozambique and those countries have, because probably there is a trade agreement signed between them, and this could allow for new or more exports. This reflects an understanding of that target market. This means also that there are already some flows of import-export products between both countries. So this reflects, these thick lines reflect that there are very tight lines between one and the other. Okay, so let's have a look at the ease of trade, and we can rank this by doing this. Clicking there, ease of trade. And there you go. So countries are ranked now according to the ease of trade. And here is where you can see how the market with which Mozambique has the highest ease of trade is South Africa, followed by Slovenia, then Mauritius, then Botswana. This is how we can use this visualization. Now, let's move to another type of use that we can give to export potential map. Shall we have a look at, for example, this functionality? Say, for example, okay, let's forget about Mozambique for a moment. Say, for example, you live in Egypt. I know we have people from Egypt in the room. What if you have a friend in China? Okay, what if you studied in China, you speak the language, you have contacts and friends in China, and you would like to do business with China? Well, what can we do? So what we could do is to look for products, follow me on the menu, look for products that could be exported from Egypt to China. There you go. And what the system does is, again, use this econometric model to propose products that are exportable from Egypt and well demanded in China. These are products that would be feasible to be traded, provided that there would be no frictions and provided that Egypt, of course, complies with the market access regulations in China. So what happens here? Let's have a look at this chart. Okay, so this is a tree map, and well, the larger the shape, the more important or the more possible it is for Egypt to export that product to China. And do you see as well that there are some percentages in each box? So for example, for gold, we have the 0% here in the corner to the left. For sesame seeds, we have 0%. For oranges, we have 100%. Okay, these percentages stand for the degree of exploitation of that market, of the Chinese market of gold in this case. So meaning that at this very moment, or at least during the last 5 years, Egypt has not been benefiting from the potential existing market of gold in China. That's what that means. So the system is also suggesting exporting some products to China because Egypt can produce them, can export them, and China is buying those products from the world. In the case of oranges, well, we are doing well because it says 100%. This means that Egypt is exploiting at 100% the potential market of China for Egyptian oranges. That is how we interpret this. Let's have a look at sesame seeds, for example. I'm going to click there, and you can always freeze this window. Let's have a look. Okay, it says actual exports $6,000 over the last 5 years in average. That is so low, let's say close to zero. But the system says that there is an export potential worth 19 millions. Wow, $19 million. Meaning, of course, that there is unrealized export potential worth $19 million of new exports that Egypt could do to China over the next 5 years. Exports of sesame seeds. That is how we can interpret this. Now, there is another type of visualization. Please follow me to the top, to the right, analyze export potential, click there, and there you go. You have this type of graph. Now you know what everything means. You know that bubbles have a meaning, right? That is the demand. And you know that now that these lines that come from the center, they represent the supply capacity of Egypt for that product. Let's make a ranking of the demand. And okay, there's a product that has come to number one. Oh no, it's still gold, then medicaments, then parts of phone, then polyethylene, and so on. You see, now bubbles are arranged from the biggest one to the smallest one. Now we can also arrange this by the supply. Follow me to the bottom, to the right, supply. And now this means these long lines mean that Egypt has the supply capacity that can allow for having this product exported to China. So we have a long line for strawberries, meaning that strawberries are widely available in Egypt. Then beet pulp, then oranges, then cement, and so on. You see another way of looking at your country's possibilities and the possible demand that you could have in a given market, in this case, China. Now, let's go back to this initial visualization. Do you see that there is always this text below? Oh, yes. There is this paragraph here. This is not artificial intelligence, just a formula behind, but this helps you interpret what you just found. Let's look at it together. It says, the products with the greatest export potential from Egypt to China are gold, methanol, and polyethylene. now it says that gold for non-monetary purposes shows the largest absolute difference between potential and actual exports in value terms, leaving room to realize additional exports worth 176 million. You see an interpretation of what you just found through the graph. But I know that at this point you are already good at understanding all this representation. We have the tree map. We saw previously what the gap chart can tell you and what the analyzed export potential visualization can also tell you. So that is how we can use export potential map for this purpose. There is another thing that the system can do, and this is going to amaze you. Okay, so please give me all your attention. There is also this export diversification indicator that you can find on export potential map. How does this happen? Well, the system operates a model behind that can suggest possible paths for export and even industrial developments in your country. How does this happen? Well, the model takes into account the economic complexity of your country, meaning, for example, the resources available, resource sophistication, and for example, the product space notion. Have you heard about the product space notion or methodology? Well, this is a theory from two economists, Hausman and Hidalgo. There is the paper on the internet. We also make references to it when we describe the methodology of export potential map in the website. And this product estimates possible diversifications that an export basket of a country could have. For example, meaning leaps to adjacent products that a country could manufacture or produce based on its current productive system. And this model as well could identify possible combinations of resources that, well, combined, could generate new export products. Well, in this way, the system manages to suggest products that are not yet being exported by your country, but products that have a market abroad and that, again, your country may produce and export. So I'm going to make an example. Let's go back to the tool again. And here we go. Well, homepage. And let's look for products. Let's think of another product. I know we also have people from St. Lucia today. So let's make an export potential analysis for St. Lucia to the world. St. Lucia to the world. We have beer, bananas, paints, preparations for sauces, with pebbles, etc. Okay, so these are export potential opportunities for St. Lucia based on products that are already being exported by St. Lucia. But what if St. Lucia would like to find or identify new export products to the world? Well, please follow me. Let's go to the bottom and we see this link, product diversification, find new opportunities. Click there, the system runs that model that I just mentioned you, and there you go. These are suggestions of products that St. Lucia is not exporting yet, but that could export. And products as well that are being demanded and that could be producible and exportable from St. Lucia. Well, we have number one, palm oil, then cocoa beans, raw cane sugar, pineapples, coffee, and so on. Again, you can always make your ranking by the demand. So these are products that are very well demanded that St. Lucia can offer. And according to the supply, for example, here I'm learning that, well, lobsters can be widely available in St. Lucia, cashew nuts, pineapples, cocoa beans as well. This is very useful in case your country is, for example, planning an export development strategy, because we are being guided by evidence, by data, by an econometric model that identifies where the most attractive markets are. Well, that was export potential map, the tool that can help us identify promising markets for your products and the promising export products from your country to other markets. Now, I remind you, we can always text Min Young, who is at the other side of the chat box. She will be happy to address all your questions. Well, Export Potential Map, the tool that we just saw, is a tool dedicated to the identification of opportunities. Now, we have this other tool that you probably know well or that you've heard of, and it's TradeMap. Oh yeah, the legendary TradeMap, our tool for the analysis of export and import flows around the world. So let's run some examples for you to learn or remember how we can use TradeMap. Okay, so I'm going to go back online and I'm going to type trademap.org. That is the address by default. When my version comes in Spanish, I'm going to switch to English. There you go. Okay, this is TradeMap in English. Okay, and how does this work? Again, it is very simple. You just have to pick a product that you want to analyze and a target market. Or simply you can select a product and do an analysis of world imports or world exports. Let's do the same that we did some moments ago. Let's talk about cashew nuts. Okay, so I want to see imports, world imports of, again, just type the name of your product, cashew, and wait for the system to suggest a code. Okay, yes, cashew nuts in shell. HS code 080132. Yeah, that is my product. And I could select a target market here or just leave this in blank because I would like to see world imports of cashew nuts. So I can click here in this button, Trade Indicators. And what will happen? What will happen? Well, the system will show me imports of cashew nuts under this code 080132, the specific code for cashew nuts in shell. And I will be able to see not only statistics, not only a ranking of world importers, but also a number of very useful trade indicators. So let's have a look at it at 1, 2, 3. I had a professor at the university who, when showing us TradeMap, would always say, oh, this is music. This is music. Now let's put the lyrics. Okay, for me, the lyrics, well, this is the name of the song. Importers of the selected product in 2022. Which product? Well, cashew nuts in shell. Well, the music is that, well, the top importer in the world is USA, then comes Germany, then Netherlands, then China, then UAE, then UK, then France. Okay, this is ranked according to, let's look at the first column, value imported in 2022. Yes, we don't publish yet information on up to December 2023 because it's still too early. TradeMap has to put together data from a number of countries so that we can dare to publish or mirror statistics as of December 2023. But if we wait until April, we will have more updated figures until 31st of December of 2023 for most countries, and we will be able to see them as well through TradeMap. For now, let's look at statistics as of 2022. Okay, so the music is that these countries are importing cashew nuts, my product, and at these values. So we have to add 3 zeros here. Please follow me for United States. This stands for $970 million. $970 million of cashew. Wow, these guys really like cashew nuts. Huh? It is really a huge market. Then comes Germany, 428 million, Netherlands, 298, and so on. Well, we have the trade balance column here. This comes from exports minus imports. When you see this in red, well, this means that this country is mainly an exporter. So United States could import some excuse me, could export some cashew nuts. Yeah, but this is mostly an importing country. Now, quantity imported in 2022, 148,000 tons. That is huge. So many shipments of cashew nuts towards the United States of America. Now, this is the unit value. This column is the unit value. Oh, this is a column worth describing a bit, okay? So this column stands for the average value of every ton of cashew nuts that was imported into the United States from the 1st of January to the 31st of December. Imports from all places in the world and of all varieties of cashew in the world. Could be there was conventional cashew or organic, certified, fair trade cashew nuts that could have increased the price a bit. So that is why we cannot consider that this is the price of, this is not the price at which USA is buying cashew nuts. Not at all, not at all. But we could say that it is a proxy of what the price could be. So always very careful with that, because I repeat, this is an average of all transactions from the 1st of January to the 31st of December and of all types and origins of cashew nuts. So always be careful with that information, but take it just as a proxy of what the price of a ton of cashew could be. There are many other variables to add to your own analysis. But, well, this can give us some ideas. Now, we see these three columns here, these three that I'm painting in blue. You see, this is the annual growth in value between these last 5 years and annual growth in quantity. These are indicators of dynamism of the market. And as you can see, -8 here, okay. This means the value between those last 5 years decreased in -8%, decreased in 8%. There is this acceleration. We don't know why, but of course, this can trigger further research and we may better understand what's happening in the market. However, well, there was this a bit less of growth. Yeah, it's too small to consider it a real growth in quantity between 2018 and 2022. However, I would really put some attention here. Annual growth in value between 2021 and 2022, -20%. Something is happening in the North American market of cashew. That's probably they're planting their own cashew. Probably the North American consumers are being guided towards some other types of nuts. We don't know. This is worth analyzing. Now, share in world imports here of the United States, well, this is 23%. Wow, this means that from every 100 tons of cashew, well, 23 tons are going to the United States. Really huge buyer. This is the average distance of supplying countries. Okay, this is the average distance that cashew must travel in order to supply the USA market. They really make cashew travel a lot. There are some other countries that don't make cashew travel so much. This is just 7,000 kilometers and so on. This can show you how dependent a country can be on a given product, because if they are making travel import products a lot, well, that means they are severely attached to the consumption or to the use of that product. What else? We have the concentration of supplying countries. Oh, this is a super interesting indicator. This drives the Herfindahl index. Have you heard about the Herfindahl index? Truly interesting. I will explain it to you in a minute. Well, this indicates the concentration of a supply. For example, from 010 to 018, I repeat, from 010 to 018, this is moderated concentration. There is no particular preference on a single origin for a product. Above that, above 0.18, well, this means that probably there is some special attachment to a market because imports of that product are too concentrated in a country or in a handful of countries. So in this case, 0.78, that is quite a lot, 0.78. This means that United States is buying most of the cashew nut from probably one or two countries, and the rest, well, probably from a little from here, a little from there, but mostly from one or two countries. Let's look at other Herfindahl indexes. Okay, here is someone with 0.93. Okay, this belongs to Australia. Okay, 0. Oh, this is super high. This means that probably Australia is buying cashew nuts probably from just one country and just a little from one or two other countries. How can I know that? Well, I can click in Australia, and then this table will be turned the other side, and I will see the suppliers to the Australian market. So clicking there, Australia. And there we go. Let's see the magic happen. And okay, these countries are supplying the Australian market. Vietnam, 96% of their imports. And you see Australia here again. How can this happen? Well, these are re-exports or re-imports. Yes. No, excuse me, re-export. This means that there were shipments probably that Australia got and then re-exported. Then comes Cote d'Ivoire. No, but this is meaningless. This is $1 million. No, too few. This shows a lot of concentration on the Vietnamese cashew, Vietnam as a supplier. But other countries, let's look at some more reasonable Herfindahl indexes. Remember, from 0.10, from 0.18. No, I don't see much concentration. 0.8, wow. Most of them super high. I can also rank countries by concentration index. Excuse me. Well, this is how you can use this column. Well, there is something else you can do with TradeMap apart from looking at these trade indicators that can help you better understand what exactly happened, how many millions, what was the trend, what happened during the last 5 years or even 10 years. You can identify potential buyers for your product. How do we do this? Let's do the same example for my product, cashew. There you go. There's my product. And I was interested in the German or say Spanish market. So I'm going to type the name of that country that I'm interested in. So it's Spain. Okay, so I have selected imports of cashew nuts from Spain. And please follow me. You can click now in this button, companies. And what the system will do is to show us some companies that were classified as importers of cashew nuts among many other products. So clicking there, companies, this data comes from our provider Compass and sometimes from Dun & Bradstreet. And there we go. We found many companies. Well, here we have berries and Brazil nuts, but this means that these companies behind, for example, this category of berries, at some point, they declared that they were also interested or that they were also into the business of buying cashew nuts. So let's click here on this one that, oh, look, somebody classified a company specifically as importers of cashew nuts and probably some other products, but let's click there, cashew nuts, and we will see a list of companies together with company details. So clicking there, I take the opportunity to remind you that these tools are for free. They're considered global public goods. into the eyes of the United Nations, because we want to democratize access to essential and strategic information as a way to create more employment, more livelihoods. Well, here we have a list of some companies in Spain. Okay, so here I have Almendras, Francisco Morales. They have 35 employees, information about their turnover, 41 million, not bad. In Spain, they are in Priego de Córdoba city. There is a website. Hopefully it will be alive. Yes. And there you have, this is the website of this potential buyer. So these are some companies that are or could be interested in your products because they accepted to be shown in the directories of Compass. As you can see here, the source for this information is Compass, but there are many other companies that you can identify through. I repeat, you go to the homepage, click on imports, select your product, choose the country of your interest, click on companies, and you will be able to see this. By the way, there will be also an indication about the activity of these companies, if they are only distributors or importers or exporters as well. Well, that is how we use that feature of TradeMap. Don't forget that you can always process yearly time series, quarterly time series, monthly time series to check the seasonality of imports and exports of products. You can also process graphs. Let's make, again, a quick example. And I'm focusing so much on cashew nuts because somebody from Mozambique specifically asked prior to the webinar if we could run an example of that. And I said, yeah, of course, it can be a very interesting case. So again, trade indicators in world imports of cashew nuts. Then if you're interested in a particular country, say, for example, now France, and if you would like to see who your competitors would be in the French market, click there. This table turns the other side, and now you are seeing suppliers, exporters of cashew nuts to the French market, together with all these same indicators: trade balance, share in the in France's imports, growth in imported value, growth in imported quantity, share of partner countries in the world. Exports, a real intelligence tool. If you wanted to be the expert in imports of cashew nuts in France, well, right now you have the opportunity because you are seeing all before your eyes. You are taking an X-ray of the importing apparatus of cashew nuts in France. So this is what TradeMap can do for you. Don't forget that you have these options here at the top. Well, we're looking at trading indicators. We could look at the monthly time series to check imports month by month. Then this gets rearranged, and we are looking at imports in 2023. M01 is January, M02 is February, and so on. We can also process a graph like this. We will be able to detect some seasonality patterns. Remember that these are imports from France, and I can see that we tend to import more in July. You see this peak here, and in November as well. This is how we can help ourselves with TradeMap. I take the opportunity to remind you that there is, well, we have a user guide, we have frequently asked questions, a glossary, and some other links to resources that you may find interesting to supplement your research. Well, that is TradeMap. I think I've given you a snippet. Don't forget, you can text Min Young, who is at the other side of the chat box, taking your questions. Shall we go now to MacMap? Okay, but before going to MacMap, I would like very shortly to address this quick questions. Okay. Excuse me. Okay, there we go. Well, I know, I don't want to insult you because this is too easy, but it is always good and always make sure that your audience, if you are going to show MacMap to somebody one day, make sure that people who are listening to you are on the same page of what a tariff is or what customs duties are. Because when you go into TradeMap and you look at the results, well, there are no doubts on what is what. So I always start by asking people when I present MacMap, what is a tariff? And then, of course, you know that a tariff is a customs duty, is a tax, is a customs tax that has to be paid for the import, for the importation of a product in a country, right? Well, but you already know that. And why do countries, which countries apply, which country, the importing country or the exporting? And most of the times, or well, always, are the importing countries. Sometimes exporting countries as well can charge tariffs to exporters. Yes, for example, when they want to preserve some of the produce for local supply and for the local market, then in order to make exports less attractive, well, sometimes a tariff to exports is imposed. Another question, why are tariffs applied? Well, we know that this is for generating revenue, for protecting industries, and for even cultural reasons sometimes. Another question, who pays the tariff? Oh, interesting question. Well, we could say that most of the times it is the importer. For example, right now I'm in Switzerland. What if I'm going to buy cocoa from Côte d'Ivoire for the fabrication of chocolate? Well, I have to pay a tax to the customs in Switzerland, right, at the border in order to nationalize that product. But it could also be the case that that exporter in Côte d'Ivoire is so well connected here in Switzerland, and that this person has a number of companies here, local service providers that can do the customs clearance process, all the logistics in order to deliver the goods at the entrance of my warehouse. Well, if that exporter from Côte d'Ivoire is so well connected, well, he can export this good and put it on my warehouse. But to do that, they will have to also do the importing clearance, the customs procedures at the Swiss customs. And in that case, this will imply paying that tariff, right? So in this case, well, who pays the tariff? Well, most of the times it is the importer, because it's the importer who does the customs clearance in her country. But sometimes it could be that the exporter can do it as well to provide a door-to-door service. And this has to do with Incoterms. And last question, what is a preferential tariff rate? What is a preferential tariff rate? Well, is the rate of discount applied to a tariff that could come as part of a trade agreement, right? It is a discount on taxes that you can apply to some trade partners, to some countries in the framework of trade agreements. So if you make this clear to your audience, to your students, if you're a professor at university, then you can jump into TradeMap to run the exercises and do the simulations, because, well, now you are sure that we are on the same page. So shall we go to TradeMap? Okay, there we go. So the address is macmap.org, and here you have MacMap, always getting upgrades and new features. There you go, macmap.org. Okay, so the use is very simple. What do we have to do? Let's keep on working with the cashew from Mozambique. Okay, so I would like to, no, not anymore, cashew. Let's talk about honey, because I remember somebody as well asked about honey. Okay, we have honey from Vietnam. Okay, let's please our honey exporters now. So we have Vietnam as an exporting country, and they would like to export to Germany because Germany is one of the top consumers of honey in the world. Clicking there, Germany, and then you just look for your product. And we will say honey. Let's wait for the system to suggest an HS code. And there you go. Please, please. What's wrong here? Oh, it's here. Sorry. It always happens online. There you go. 040900 HS code, HS6 code for natural honey. Now I'm going to click here and search. Oh, but this country is erased now. I'm going to start all over. So macmap.org, your exporting country. We had said Vietnam, destination country, Germany, the people that are most fond of honey, and your product. Honey there, nothing yet. Well, by heart, I know that this is under 040900. Not yet. Okay, here it is. Voila. Vietnam targeting the German market of honey. I'm going to click in search and the system will tell me what that honey has to comply with in order to be authorized into the German market. Click there. We let the system do the queries in the databases and here we go. So we have these three cards here showing me the customs tariffs, meaning the duties that should be paid for importing that honey. So, well, there is a very high tariff of 17.3% of honey. This is the MFN tariff. This is the tariff, the most favored nation tariff. Well, for those of you who are not familiar with the MFN, this is the treatment, this is the tariff that should be applied to any country in the absence of a trade agreement. You can Google for it. It is very interesting theory that builds the foundations of the World Trade Organization. Well, all you need to know for now is that the MFN tariff is the tariff that should be paid to the German customs in the absence of a trade agreement. But it seems that Vietnam benefits from a preferential tariff of 0%. Great, good news for Vietnam. Are there trade remedies? No. What are trade remedies? There are sanctions. No sanctions applied at this moment. And the regulatory requirements. These are what we call in our jargon the non-tariff measures. So 33 measures to be observed, respected, in order to get our Vietnamese honey accepted by the German market. So let's look at the details. So MFN duties, 17.30% for every country. If you want to have a list of the countries, click there and there you go. 211 countries. But look at this. This is for you. This is a preferential tariff for Vietnam. Clicking there. And yes, we are eligible for that tariff. If you would like to learn about the trade agreement that gives this 0% tariff, applied tariff, we can have a look at the trade agreement details. And there you go. It is a free trade agreement between the European Union and Vietnam. Okay, so it was not just Germany, it was the whole European Union. Now you know that you can import, or every entrepreneur in the European Union could benefit from this 0% tariff. Now, if you would like to go very theoretical and have the full text of the agreement, you can click there. There you have the text of the agreement. But we can just be happy for now with this information. But well, good for us to know that we even have the certificate of origin. An example, if you would like to learn about it, it's good always to have all this context. There are no trade remedies, meaning no sanctions, and regulatory requirements. There are 33. These are 33 aspects that, or attributes, or steps that honey must comply with. There are some of these requirements that may be a one-time requirement, as for example, registering the Vietnamese company in a database of authorities in Germany, for example. Well, next time won't be 33 steps, will be just 32 and so on. And here we can see, well, there are, for example, requirements on labeling, hygienic requirements, food and feed processing, testing requirements, certification requirements. Well, this is homework for both the exporter and the importer to read, learn, adapt. We can have a look, for example, of the labeling requirements. There are two. And well, let's expand this. And okay, here is a summary, and it says that there are two types of labeling provisions which are applicable to foodstuffs. Okay, so this applies not only to honey, but to foodstuffs in general. Okay, for example, it says that we have to put the name of the food. Yeah, that could be obvious, but no, it is not just that the label designer had the idea of putting the name of the product. No, you have to put that by law. List of ingredients, net quantity, minimum durability date, minimum durability. Okay, so do you see? It's aspects, details that sometimes we just comply because, well, we are mandated to do that. We think it's a good idea, but sometimes it's mandatory, which is good news because we are already complying with this when we specify the ingredients, the composition, and all that. But it results that this was mandatory. Very good, very good. We're closer to meet the requirements of the European Union in terms of labeling. Of course, there are protocols. You know that, for example, for an industrial food product, you always have to mention first the ingredient that is more present in the formula. For example, if it's 40% sugar, well, you have to put ingredient number one, sugar, and 40%, and mention it very clearly because, well, that is what is established in the rule. If you want to have a look at the specific document that establishes this, well, there you go. You have a link. There you go. There is a link as well. You can download the document, and you can do the same for every requirement. That is why, well, this tool can be so powerful because it already tells you the path to follow in order to meet a country's requirements to be accessed with your product. And you can do this for any country. Let's run another quick example. For example, let's export from Ethiopia. Let's export to the United States. Let's export coffee. Again, just type the name of your product. There you go. And if for some reason you are struggling with finding the right code for your product, you can always use this advanced product search. This will take you to a tool that helps you get into the details of the nomenclature and find the specific code for your product. So click in there in search, and there you have all the same information. The customs tariffs that must be paid. Oh, in this case, it's 0%. Natural remedies, it's 45 measures to be complied at the for the USA market. Again, using the same nomenclature and structure of the non-tariff measures that you can see here. Very good. Okay, so this is what we do with a market access map. Now, as you can see, we started with export potential map, a tool to identify promising, prospective markets for your products, and identify as well export with products with export potential from your country, and with suggestions of promising markets. We also saw trade map that gives you information on import-export flows so that you can check and go into the details of transactions and look at some interesting trade indicators as well that can help you spot some trends and have a more strategic view of your target markets. And finally, we saw MACMAP, Market Access Map, the tool that can give you information on market access requirements for those export products that you have in order to meet the regulations that will be demanded in that target market of yours. Well, I would like to ask you, Min Young, are you there, Min Young, to tell us if there were any questions that are worth discussing, or probably we addressed them all before we make some closing remarks for this webinar. Hello there, Min Young.
Hello, I think all the questions are answered, but if you have any questions that you receive and it looks interesting, please, yeah, address, I think.
Okay, very good. Well, don't forget that we are sharing this recording as well later on. It will be in our YouTube channel. And well, we are always very present online because there is this channel, I repeat, through which you can see the tutorials for many of the tools or for some regional portals that could have been also created for your region, always in connection with these tools, with these and other tools. Today, we just saw 3 of those tools, but there are many more that you can check for yourself, and every tool will have the frequently asked questions, some tutorials, or some resources for you to pursue in your learning and exploiting of the tool. Well, I would like to call it a day for now. If you have any question, I will, I will type my email address in the chat box. So please feel free to text me with any question, curiosity, inquiry that you could have, and I will be very happy to answer. I know that sessions like this can trigger some questions, so I will be very glad to continue with you later on. So thank you very much for your attention. You have 2 new friends in Geneva, in Min Young and me. And if, as somebody said, if you're ever in our area, please stop by and we will make you feel right at home. Thank you for participating in this public webinar, and we hope to see you next time as well. Thank you very much. Take care and goodbye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye from Serbia.
Bye.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.